Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your spoilers and tonight's Impact results, and as well as Ring of Honor TV tapings, NWA Florida Underground, and news on Kurt Angle. But first, congratulations to former backstage interviewer from TNA, Lauren Thompson. Gave birth to a baby boy this past Thursday. Named Baby Brantley arrived yesterday, weighing in at 9 pounds 7 ounces. She wrote on Twitter, "Most incredible feeling." She also included a photo that can be viewed on her Twitter account, twitter.com/LThompsonGC. Thompson was a backstage interviewer for TNA from 2007 to 2009. She currently works for the Golf Channel. Congratulations to her and her husband, Richard, on the new arrival. And the news on Kurt Angle is JB attended a ring of oh, that's wrong. Okay, TNA star Kurt Angle was interviewed by the UK Sun and admitted he would like to return to WWE before his career ends. "I can't say when," Angle said in quotes, transcribed by James Caldwell of PWTorch.com. "My TNA contract is up in September, and I've left my options open. I'm very happy in TNA as Dixie Carter has treated me very well and always been there for me. But I can't lie to myself anymore. I can't lie to TNA or WWE. Yeah, there is a desire to go back. I just don't know when. Of course, the 90-day clause after the no-compete from its September contract, so that will probably be by the end of the year or first part of next year. It could be this year, next year. Don't know when. It's not a bad thing to stay in TNA at all. I just have some unfinished business in WWE. Whether it's this year or 3 years from now, view the full video interview at thesun.co.uk. The question is whether Angle can pass the WWE medical testing, drug testing included, that would be required for him to return to WWE. And Angle has suffered a lot of injuries over the years, dating back to his Olympic wrestling days. He also went to rehab last year. I would also like to see Angle finish his career where it started, but the medical testing is a legit hurdle he would need to clear up. And now for your Ring of Honor tapings. For the fan footage of Kevin Steen fighting a man who interrupted his match, and notes on the main event at the TV taping approach, as JB attended the Ring of Honor Wrestling's Finest event in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and sent the following results from Saturday's event. All in all, it was a good show. It did start off a little flat. They announced that they were taping 3 different TV episodes that night. So, a few times throughout the night, they asked for the crowd to react like it was opening segment of the TV broadcast. So, there was an announcement that Paul London was not going to appear because of flight complications due to bad inclement weather all over the country. Of course, the highlight of the night would have been the match between Kevin Steen and Kyle O'Reilly. The match was a very good back-and-forth match, but with O'Reilly getting the win. However, during the match, an interruption came from the crowd. It was Cliff Compton, formerly in WWE, distracting Steen, which is the ultimately costed Steen the match. However, this was a great pandemonium post-match, which you can see on the YouTube video that the fan posted on. I guess I'll post it in the link in this video. The main event was Chris Hero and Michael Elgin versus Briscoe Brothers versus Matt Hardy and Adam Cole. It was a very good, fast-paced match. Mark Briscoe was pinned first to eliminate Dim Boys, and the Hero went on to get the pin over Adam Cole. While Elgin was not happy, but shook Hero's hand, Elgin thanked the crowd and said that Pittsburgh was one of his new favorite places to wrestle. And the next time he was in town, he would have the Ring of Honor title. All in all, the show finished strong, and the crowd was very into it. And that's the end of that. I haven't gotten the other 3 events. I don't see it in that article. And now we go on to NWA Florida Underground. Former Nexus member Michael Tarver versus Trent Beretta was on the card. to determine the number one contender to the NWA FUW champion, Matt Morgan. And Wes Briscoe, Fidel Sierra, Angelina Love, Rich Swann. Okay, the results courtesy of Alan Wojcik. Match number 1, Wayne Van Dyke and Solo Darling defeated Leo Gold and Justin Silver. No, that's not Kyle Silver's brother. Match number 2, JB Cool over Fidel Sierra with Fantasy. Match number 3, Demos and Kennedy Kendrick with Cammy defeated JD Maverick and James Alexander. Jeff Boom and Mitch Mitchell and Aaron Solo and John Davis to become the NWA FUW Tag Team Champions. Sounds like a alphabet soup there. Match number 4, Wes Briscoe versus Mikey Bats, with Wes Briscoe getting the win, formerly of TNA, with the Aces and Eights. Match number 5, Jesse Bell Smothers and Sassy Stephanie defeated La Raza, Negra and Sue Young. Match number 6, Bushwhacker Luke Williams defeated Maxwell Chicago. Match number 7, Mercenary Pitbulls and Rich Swann defeated Los Bendejos and Lince Dorado. Match number 8, Sam Alias defeated Bruce Santee by countout because Santee was unable to attend. Okay, then you got the knockouts match of the evening. Angelina Love defeating Leigh Von Dutch, the Dutch. And your main event, Michael Tarver defeated Trent Beretta to become the number one contender to the NWA FUW champion Matt Morgan. And that concluded the results of NWA Underground. And now for your results from tonight's taping of the January 30th episode of Impact. Thanks to Mick and Ben for the following, as it was a spoiler, but I'm just now getting the news, so I just went to the website. From Glasgow, Scotland, Jeremy Boris, Mike Tenay, and Chrissy Hemme all get good pops before the broadcast begins. World Heavyweight Champion Magnus kicks off the show and gets booed, of course. Fans chanted "Paper Champ" as he makes his way to the ring. Rockstar Spud, who really sucks, also has a big heat. There's so much heat for the two that it's hard to make what they're even saying. But since it's on TV, you can actually hear what they're saying. Magnus was interrupted by Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle, who came out to a huge reaction, and Angle and Joe got the Paper Champ chants going real strong again. Angle and Joe versus Magnus and Ethan Carter was announced. If Joe and Angle lose with the stipulation, they leave TNA. Correspondent questions how Angle will be able to wrestle when he could barely walk out to the stage. Well, Dixie Carter interrupted and says that the tag match won't be taking place. She disagrees with Magnus about having their match tonight, but apparently it's happening anyway, as he's overruling it. Well, Madison Rayne and Velvet Sky defeated Gail Kim and Lady Tappa in a quick match. That was so quick I didn't even get to see nothing but Madison Rayne and Velvet Sky. Velvet got the pin on Gail after the match. Chris Sabin confronted Velvet and wanted her to apologize. Well, she surprised him with a slap in the face and says, "We're done." And the crowd cheers big time. Cowboy James Storm comes out and he's pissed off. He calls out Gunner to the ring. Gunner comes out and they trade promos. They're going to put aside differences tonight to face Kazarian and Daniels. And the match happens next, and James Storm and Gunner defeated Kazarian and Daniels. Not much saying that there. There was technical difficulties in the program with big screen working during backstage segments. All the fans got was audio, no video, which it didn't appear on TV at all. So someone was just attacked backstage, but there was no video. It was noted that after 1 hour in, there had been Less than 10 minutes of in-ring wrestling, there had been a lot of hype promos for Christy Hemme and Jeremy Borash. Rockstar Spud comes out and rips on Scotland. He calls out the American Wolves from Ring of Honor, but TNA they're just called the Wolves. And they come out to a decent reaction. Spud wants to know who the investor is. He does some comedy, mocks the Wolves and slaps Davey Richards as the Wolves destroy Spud in a big pop. They announce that the investor will fire anyone who interferes in tonight's main event tag match. Abyss and Eric Young versus Romance for the TNA Tag Team titles is up next. The match ended in a no contest when Abyss goes nuts, chokeslams the referee, and lays out Young. Abyss versus Young in a Monsters Ball match was announced for later on tonight. And everyone was shocked at the Abyss turn. We get another segment with Sam Shaw obsessing over Christy Hemme. Bully Ray comes out with a coffin and blames Mr. Anderson for the end of Aces and Eights and for losing his World Heavyweight title. Bully challenges Anderson to a coffin match later on, and Anderson beats him down with a steel chair until Bully runs away. Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe in the main event versus Magnus and Ethan Carter III was up. Magnus cut a promo and got booed extremely loud again. If Angle and Joe win with a stipulation, they get a title shot. If they lose, they have to leave TNA, which there appears to be tension between Magnus and Ethan before the match. One backstage segment that had Magnus talking down Ethan until Dixie walked into the room. Most of the first part of the match had Angle beat down Magnus and Ethan, and Joe finally came in and choked out Magnus for the win. And Joe was the number one contender. During that technical difficulty, I guess they plugged in some video of Christy Hemme and Sam Shaw doing some hotel room stuff. And he was basically making a pass at her. She was trying to do a view from the window. He comes up behind her and starts blowing something in her ear and touch her on her shoulder, and she didn't particularly like it. But eventually they were walking out together. And what happened at the end of Impact that was going off, Dixie was irate and demanded to see the investor, which was not, it was shown. MVP came out in a suit with Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, the Wolves, as the bodyguards to none other than who gets a big, huge pop, and he's revealed as a mystery investor. And it was MVP, the man to change Impact Wrestling. And that concluded the show for that one. Okay, now for your spoilers for next week's February the 6th episode. Thanks to Mick and Ben again for the following spoilers from Tape Glasgow, Scotland. Impact opened up, but Austin Aries coming out to a big pop because of promo, but Zema Ion interrupted, and he will be cashing in his briefcase for an X Division title shot. And Aries got to win with a nasty brainbuster. Next match was Curry Man versus Bully Ray. Was up next, and Bully brings his coffin to ringside with him. Bully got the easy win after a pile driver. Then Bully rolled Curry into the coffin after the match. Well, the coffin match is not declared a winner until you put your man into the coffin. Abyss versus Eric Young in the Monsters Ball match was up next. They used everything, including chairs, tables, thumbtacks, and the return of Janice. Abyss got the win, but Young unmasked him to reveal none other than Joseph Park. This was described as a must-see match. MVP comes out to the ring for a promo and is using that name. He said that he's been enjoying life, and he keeps hearing about fans being tired of egotistical owners. MVP says that he loves wrestling and can't stand to watch it be ran down. He's investing money to make a change in TNA. He then praises TNA's fans and talent and rips on the management. Rockstar Spud interrupts, and they have a few words until Spud invites MVP to meet Dixie on her throne. Well, MVP makes a match of Kurt Angle versus Magnus in a non-title match. Of course, everybody knows if you win a non-title match, you get a title match. Well, Kurt Angle versus Magnus was up next, and the correspondent says that Angle looks to be in the roughest shape he's ever been in. Ethan Carter III ends up interfering when Angle has Magnus in the ankle lock. But this is what happens. Ethan beats Angle down with the chair shots, and the referee then throws up the X sign, which means an injury, a real injury, and ended the match, calling for help for Angle. So Magnus still wins. And then Samoa Joe defeated Bobby Roode to once again become the #1 contender. Dixie Carter came out with Spud, introduces MVP, and welcomes him to TNA. She says that they have a lot to talk about. Dixie praises Magnus and says that she will lead TNA to success. Dixie says she has dealt with good investors and bad investors, and a parent shot at Jeff Jarrett. MVP isn't buying any of Dixie's trash talk and says her reign of terror is over. Then MVP says her party is over and he plans on being very hands-on. And then MVP and Dixie had a stare down to end the show, but it may or may not be on the show. MVP lays out Spud as he tried to do some more interfering. And that ends this video for the spoilers for Impact for next week and the results for Ring of Honor and NWA Florida. Thanks again. Peace out.